Like me, you're probably not happy at all with how this thing rides. Polaris limited the factory up travel insanely to keep the tires from rubbing, but it makes the bike miserable and the suspension bottoms out all the time. Let me show you what I'm talking about. These are the stock shocks. That's how much up travel you have in the back. Okay? Or that's the front, excuse me. That's how much up travel you have in the front, and that's how much up travel you have in the back. Just that little shiny piece. This giant long shock to give you that much travel. That's pathetic. The Highlifter shocks are stupid. This is one area where Can-Am XMR smokes the Polaris Highlifter suspension. These have no travel. So, easy fix, go online, $100, get you some used takeoff shocks off of a Scrambler 1000 or Sportsman 1000 or a Sportsman 850 SP, and look how much travel you have. The more shiny stuff you see, the more travel you get, basically. The springs are softer and there's more travel. If you put the 2-inch bracket lift with the Scrambler shocks, it rides awesome, and these are 32s and they barely rub. I'm going to put raked arms in the back and then they won't rub at all. You can come down off a wheelie and it barely rubs. This is an absolute mod that you just absolutely have to do. In my opinion, you have to put the high range gears to make this bike faster, and then once you do that and you can go fast, you need more suspension, and then you have to do this. But those are two really cheap mods. That's like $300 in parts, and then you've got the perfect bike. You've got the best rate of relocate money you can buy, really good big snorkels, decent travel, low gears, and you can still go 70 miles an hour. So this thing's getting there. But, you know, all these mud bikes, even the Can-Ams and all that stuff, they're not good from the factory. You got to put a little money into them. This you got to put like $300-400. The Can-Am you got to put $7,000 or $8,000 to make them work right. You got to put the aftermarket clutches, aftermarket diff, all this stuff. This does need a pinion plate. It's $100. The rear diffs are pretty solid, really good clutching, really good gears. But yeah, it's pretty sad that you can't buy one of these bikes that's set up to do anything well. This thing is good for slow speed mudding from the factory, but it doesn't have the suspension travel to do anything high speed. I literally flew over the handlebars when the suspension bottomed out, so that is a really good mod. Shock comparison for you. As you can see, they're both the exact same length, therefore the exact same max down travel. The difference is that has about 2.5 inches of up travel. Alrighty guys, here's the front shock comparison between the regular Sportsman, or the regular Scrambler 1000 and this Highlifter Sportsman. Same case as the rear, exact same length, eye to eye. But a lot more travel, right? So you see how much travel that one has. We got the Scrambler springs on here. Do a little ground clearance. Look at, oh man, we're at 19 inches of ground clearance in the front under the hook, which is not the lowest point, but that's what I've been doing to compare. 19, and in the rear, we are at, under the hip, is where I've been doing it. It's 17 3/4. So we're getting up there to Rubicon ground clearance. But basically what I did was I got a piece of coated, whatever, plastic coated cable, runs up over the bracket for the front rack, runs down underneath the shock mount, and then it's fully adjustable because you just use one of these little cable binders and you can adjust how much down travel you have. So I adjusted it to where I have 1 inch less down travel. And it looks kind of ugly. Hopefully I'll be able to get rid of all this once I get my new shocks, but you see with the bike jacked up, there's quite a lot of tension on here, and that's because that's limiting that down travel. But with that inch less down travel, I don't lose any ground clearance because the bike, still has about 1/2 inch of down travel with the weight of the bike on it, and wheel spins freely. Before, when you did that, it would spin both wheels because it was binding up the diff, so it spins freely. But we realized I have a very bent axle shaft, which I've never seen that before. So I got new axles coming in next week. Hopefully it'll work for now. But yeah, so pretty good mod. It proves out that the stock axles are not good with a 2-inch lift, which is sad because they sell you that lift, like it should work. Pathetic. But whatever. So yep, fix that issue. Also, because I'm running the 32s and I'm running these are my stock shocks, and I'm running the 1000 Scrambler shocks, I have a lot more up travel, which means the tire wants to rub the headlight and stuff, so I took the connector and flipped it around that way. All you got to do that is grind. There's a little part. I might try to take this one out for you to show you. So from the factory, that looks like that. You can see this connector hangs down real far. The tire will grab it and it'll yank the bulb out the back of your headlight. So that's not good, right? We don't want bulbs getting yanked out of our headlights. So what you got to do to fix that is, you see how there's 3 tangs? Well, there was 3. I just broke one of them. So the biggest tang, what you got to do is you got to take a file like a fingernail file, and go up underneath these tangs and file them down so that they're flush on the bottom. That lets you rotate the bulb farther. And then once, this is all just dielectric grease. Once you get it rotated farther, you just have to put some grease in there to make sure it still seals well. But then you can rotate that bulb up out of the way so it looks more like this, and it's less likely to get hit by the tire. Quick mod I did was I put a nice tow hook back here. Really easy. This is just a Harbor Freight tow hook. It was $10, and there's already a hole there. Just bolt it in place where the hitch is, and now you have a really nice tow point. I took my hitch and I cut a 45 off of it so it doesn't hang down as far anymore. It was ugly, but now I got a nice tow point for pulling out Can-Am's.